Hi, it's Tanya from My Forking Life, and today we're in the kitchen and we're making your favorite pressure cooker egg bites. Now, I've had this recipe on my site for quite a while, and it is one of the most popular recipes because it's one of those recipes that, well, we know there's this coffee chain that has this recipe and people are buying it and they are loving it. And now you can make the copycat version at home for a lot cheaper. Now, before we get started, don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you like recipe videos. Also, don't forget to hit that thumbs up if you like this video. All right, so let's get started. All right, so the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna prep some ingredients. I have got some spinach, and I'm gonna chop some of that fresh spinach because I'm gonna add them to my egg bites. You can add whatever vegetables you wanna add to it, but I'm just gonna kinda give these a rough, fine chop. Y'all don't come here talking about my knife skills. I've been practicing, I know, but no. I think I'm getting better. We want to chop about enough spinach to where it's about 1/4 of a cup. If it's more, that's fine. Spinach is good for you. And it's a good way to sneak veggies in your breakfast for you and your family. All right, so I've cut that spinach. I'm gonna just kind of set that to the side over here. Voila. And then what I've done beforehand is I've also prepared some bacon, and I prepared that in the air fryer. Nice and crispy bacon. And you can make your bacon in the oven, the stove top, the skillet, but you kind of want to prepare them ahead of time so that they're ready. And I'm gonna use a knife. You could also just use your hands and just crumble them up, because we're gonna add these to our egg bites as well. All right, got my bacon. And then the last thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to shred some cheddar cheese. You can add whatever kind of cheese you want to your egg bites. I like sharp cheddar, and I do like buying the block cheddar. I find that block cheddar shreds a lot better than the pre-shredded stuff, so I usually just buy it by the block and just give it a nice good shred. And we want about 1 1/4 or to 1 1/2 cups of sharply shredded cheese. And if you've been following along, I used to have a different grater. I just got this grater and I absolutely love it. I just find it a lot easier to shred my cheeses, and then I can actually see how much has been shredded. Tells me about 1 cup. I'm gonna shred just a little bit more. Now on to our blender. So I've got here my blender container, and I'm going to crack open 4 large eggs into that blender. Three. Make sure you're not getting any shells into that blender container, because then your egg bites would be crunchy, and that wouldn't be good. All right, and I'm gonna wash my hands because I've been touching raw eggs. So I've got my 4 eggs cracked in here. I'm going to also add some cottage cheese. That's gonna help keep these egg bites nice and airy and just so creamy. And I mean, cottage cheese is good for you from what I heard, so add them to your egg bites. We're also gonna add a little bit of heavy cream, about 1/4 of a cup, and that was 1/2 of a cup of cottage cheese that I added. Got a little bit of hot sauce because we love hot sauce. Just about a teaspoon, not too much. Gonna add a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. I'm always preaching about using freshly ground black pepper. It is so good. And then I'm gonna take that cheddar cheese and I'm gonna add it to the blender as well. Now, the bacon and the spinach, I am not gonna add during this stage. If I were to add the spinach to this blender, what will actually happen is that your egg bites would just be green, and I don't want that. I want it to still be nice and yellow and just to have the spinach kind of throughout the actual egg bite. So I've got everything in my blender. So I'm going to blend this on medium speed until it's a smooth consistency. Medium. All right, so that took about 20 seconds for it to get to smooth consistency. And basically you'll see that everything has been melted. And I'm going to get over to my baby food mold. Now, if you don't have one of these, you can totally make these egg bites into like little jars if you have those. But I love these baby food molds because essentially they look similar to the egg bites from my favorite coffee place. So you can find these on Amazon. I have the link to ones that I use down below. Now, the ones that I originally bought for this recipe, I actually don't have to spray the molds, but I've heard some people have some that you do have to spray them. So when in doubt, just go ahead and spray it. And I just got some regular olive oil here, and I'm just gonna spray inside those molds. Voila. The next thing I'm gonna do at this point is I'm gonna add bacon to the bottom of each mold. And we're gonna just add the bacon. And this was 4 pieces of bacon that I made earlier. So each egg bite will have a good bit of bacon. Oh, that spinach. What do I do with that spinach? I'm actually gonna add it to the mixture in the blender. Just gonna, you can get a spoon and stir it, but I'm just gonna magically do it like that. And I'm gonna pour this into each egg bite till it's pretty much full. Well, for the most part. So there we go, there's that one. One more. Now you'll notice that when you make these egg bites, you're gonna have a little bit more egg mixture that's left over. Generally what I just do with this is you could just put it in a skillet and eat it that way, because you're just gonna have a little bit left over after you filled in all of your bites in your mold. And there are 7 little holes here for you to put the egg bite mixture in. All right, now we're gonna head on over to our pressure cooker. All right, so now we're back and we've got our pressure cooker here. So we are going to cook our egg bites inside of this thing. It's gonna be so cool. And the reason why we're doing it in our pressure cooker is it helps steam those egg bites to keep them nice and creamy. And so that's what we're gonna do. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do, anytime you're using your pressure cooker, you need thin liquid. So we're gonna use some H2O. And I'm just putting a cup of water in the bottom of that pressure cooker. The next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually use what's called my bakeware sling, because that's gonna make it easier for me to put these egg bites into the pressure cooker as well as take them out. So I've got my egg bites here. I am going to lightly cover this with foil paper. Whether you choose to do it, that's up to you. I've heard people that don't cover theirs. There's other people that do cover theirs. I covered mine because steam is gonna build up and some of that water is gonna drop right back in there. I just prefer them not to drop on my egg bites. So just lightly cover it. It's not even anything that intense, just a little bit. And then I'm gonna do this with my bakeware sling. I love this thing. Look how easy that is. Then we're gonna put it right inside the pressure cooker. Ah, easy. And now I've got my pressure cooker top. Found it. And we're gonna put the top on, making sure that our valve is set to seal. And then we're gonna actually use the steam function on here. Where's my steam? Boom. And we're actually gonna put that on 9 minutes. So we're gonna let that run for 9 minutes on the steam setting. So what you're gonna see is that it's gonna take a little time. Then the timer is gonna come up. It's gonna count down from 9 minutes. Let me see. Yeah, it says on. It's gonna take a while, but once it starts to build our steam, the timer will start. Then the timer will go from 9 minutes down. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna let it naturally release. So we're gonna leave it alone for an additional 10 minutes. And after that's done, we're gonna make sure that any other pressure in here is released. And then we're gonna open it and we're gonna have our egg bites. All right, so I'll be back. All right, so it's been about, well, it's been longer than 10 minutes. Sorry guys, I'm gonna go ahead and release the steam on this. Boom. And now we're gonna open the lid. See all that water? I just did not want that to fall on my egg bites. So now what we're gonna do is we are going to grab those. I use my hand because that's not hot for me, but you know, you might wanna use gloves or something. Egg bites are done. And I'm gonna allow these to cool in the mold for a little bit But as you can see, they've puffed up nicely. I'm so excited. And we're gonna let those rest a little bit, and then we're going to basically dump them over onto a platter. Now, if you want, just to make sure, be extra cautious, I'm gonna just rub a butter thing around the side of here. You wanna give that some time to solidify. I'm just gonna go ahead and put this on the thing, flip it over. We're gonna actually just pop them out since they're silicone. And there we have our egg bites. We're gonna let those cool just a little bit longer. All right, there you have it. Beautiful, delicious egg bites made right in your pressure cooker. Now, don't forget to subscribe for more videos and give us a thumbs up if you like this video. All right, until the next time,